I love a good waterfall in Minecraft, and most people do too, but you have to admit, this does not look particularly great. Even with shaders on, this is mid at best. It just really doesn't move. And I've gone so far as to add soul sand to put bubbling down here, campfires to add some extra steam rising. I've tried to animate it a little bit, but it just honestly doesn't look all that great. Outside of shading the walls, which I think that using the deep slate to kind of darken areas where it gets wet and then transitioning to the stone would help a lot, we can go the BDubs route and make glass waterfalls, which kind of adds that white water effect as it comes down the waterfall and looks pretty good. I think BDubs' waterfalls are really beautiful, honestly, and I think that there's a lot to be said for it. But I think we can do just a little bit better. See, I've been playing with some piston feed tape designs, and something along this nature that Nugs was able to help me out with looks pretty cool. And if you take that piston feed tape and you combine it with different colored blocks, whether it's light wool or dark wool blocks, you can get something that looks a little bit like this. And that is pretty dang awesome. I'm sure, though, that you can actually get this to go even faster. As I've said before, I'm not a redstone expert. But when you get your pistons running very quickly in a very clean setup to be able to animate that wool dropping down, you get a nice effect of the wool dropping down, which looks like water running in the background. And then down here, it's very loud. As with all of these, they're going to be very loud, so I put the block volume on 0, so that way it's not going to blow out your ears. But what I did down here was added some pistons that are just kind of pulling and pushing wool back and forth, and it creates this kind of animated splashing water effect that when you back up from a distance, I mean, come on. Come on, that looks way more like a waterfall. I don't even know what anyone's saying. How have we not built these types of waterfalls in Minecraft before? This is so cool. So give me a second, and I'm gonna spend some time rebuilding the waterfall in my world and see if we can make something look way more like this. The next several hours I spent packing piston feed tape after piston feed tape into the mountain, and it was quite a struggle. But it did end up resulting in something that looked like this, which honestly doesn't look terrible. I definitely think the movement of the piston feed tapes is a little bit slow, so the water is kind of feeling sluggish. It's kind of like slowly pulling down, but it definitely has some of that movement element to it. And I think especially if you're kind of just walking along a path, that adds a lot more movement into the build. But I think I want to try to rebuild this once more. See, up until this point, what I've been doing is using individual piston feed tapes that kind of work down at different layers down the waterfall. I think instead, a system where the blocks are pushed in one long piston feed tape that goes all the way down the waterfall and then gets fed back into a system that works their way back up to the top, creating one closed loop, will help with some of the consistency, as well as making sure things flow a little bit more smoothly, almost like water. Yeah, I'm gonna save you a bunch of time that I did not save myself, and this was a terrible idea. My small brain just could not figure it out. We're gonna scrap this and go back to the original idea. So, here we are with our 9 piston feed tapes, all working independently of each other, but all part of the same clock, which makes things a lot easier for me to actually have a start and stop button at the bottom of the mountain, which I'll show you. I do not want to reveal what it looks like yet, because I want to finish a bunch of decoration, but just you can get an idea of the cutout of the mountain and what it looks like, and then I'm going to put everything back, decorate it all up. We'll see what the final reveal looks like. Be right back in just a moment, which for you guys will be a second, but for me will be many more hours. All right, are you ready to see the waterfall? I am ridiculously excited to show this off. Let's check it out. Oh, come on. That looks amazing. That seriously looks amazing. So down here at the bottom, instead of the blocks going backwards and forwards, I actually added them up and down. That adds a really nice bubbling effect. And like that just takes a normal waterfall to the absolute next level. There is so much movement in this. when you come walking along, that looks so good. That looks so good. And keep in mind that I have a very small brain when it comes to redstone, okay? Very small brain. So this is not the fastest that you can get piston feed tapes, I am sure. This is not efficient, but it's running absolutely fine. And I mixed in a bunch of actual walls in here to add a lot of extra depth into the actual water as it's collapsing down. And man, this whole thing just looks so good. Like, that's a waterfall, okay? I don't care what you say. That's an awesome waterfall. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours in the comments below if you would try your hand at building a piston feed tape waterfall. I think this is literally the next generation of waterfalls in Minecraft, and I know I'm going to be building more of these in the future. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!